Hello, this is my film analysis for Ghosted by Morgan Gruer. The story outline is that there's Grace, who is a woman who is recovering from a leg injury. During this time, she's also being ghosted by a romantic interest of hers, and she is trying to heal both physically and emotionally from the traumas that she's enduring. Key assumptions, I would say 2 shooting days maximum. It's a short film. It's only like 7.5 minutes long, and there's really only two locations, and they would be Grace's house, which is where most of it takes place, and then her love interest house, Nick, I believe, his house, and even then, his are just like little like couple of frames shots at a time. It's not really a lot going on in his place, and really it could all be shot in one location if needed. For the crew, the director, the cinematographer, production designer, and production sound mixer would probably be your most important ones. You wouldn't really need too many other ones. It's not really a big production, so you won't really need that many. And then there's only two cast members, and that's Grace, who is there for pretty much all of it, and then her love interest, Nick, who is only in a couple of shots and scenes. So production considerations, there's a lot of animations that kind of happen on top of the things, on top of like the shots and scenes. There's like text that pop up from her family and friends, and then there's an animated segment towards the end which takes up a solid at least a minute of screen time that would need to be animated, and that's a pretty major consideration. Shot list, yeah, you have this master shot here from for this kitchen when she's getting some leftover spaghetti, and she's leaving a voicemail for Nick. And then this medium shot, both of these medium shots rather, they both happen while she's leaving this voicemail, and then it kind of cycles back to that kitchen shot a couple of times while also cycling to those two. And it just kind of, I think it's really important for this scene to kind of show that it's all like these things are something that's going on in the back of her mind, or she's doing these things, but this voicemail and like her being ghosted is something that's going on in the back of her mind during all of these things, and it kind of helps you get into the mentality of her for it. The camera plot for those, this is kind of how I have them set up. It wouldn't really require too much of a setup issue. It'd be pretty easy to get set up and take those shots. Lighting breakdown. So for that couch shot, I thought was really nice. Yeah, there's two spots that look like it's just natural light coming in from the windows, and then it looks like there's another light inside the inside that is creating that key light across her face. But I think there might be like a silk or something over it to kind of give it that softer effect so that it doesn't really create any harsh shadows. And this kind of makes it feel natural and feel like you're looking at a day in the life for her, which I think kind of helps us feel more attached to the protagonist, Grace, a little bit more than we would if it were a different type of lighting situation. The lighting plot for that is kind of how I have it set up here, or at least that's how I would imagine it. For the mise-en-scene, there's a lot of emptiness that's shown throughout the film, and it's just like they kind of make everything in Grace's house seem very sterile and isolated. Like we're looking at a moment in time constantly, and everything just seems very isolated, and like she's very focused on one thing, and that's getting Nick to answer her calls and stuff like that, and she's trying to get back to that, but then she's also focusing on her leg injury. And then there's a lot of use of blue throughout the film, which can show, like just her mental state with everything going on. She's obviously not very not feeling very well about everything. For cinematography, most of the shots are either close-ups or master shots. There are a few medium shots in there, but the master shots just kind of show her, and she's the only one in a lot of those shots, and it kind of shows her isolation. And I think that's really powerful because that's kind of the whole point of the film, or at least that's my interpretation. And then yeah, there's the close-ups will show kind of her reacting to the fact that whenever she gets a text, it's never the person she wants to be texting her. The editing, there's a lot of flashbacks that get edited and spliced in really quick, and it kind of shows that she's kind of almost traumatized by the fact that she was going through this loving relationship, or at least she thought it was, and then all of a sudden they're not texting back, they're not calling back, and she hasn't talked to him in a long time. And then yeah, the text from friends, which get edited onto screen for us to see that she's kind of ignoring those people, and the people that she loves and cares about are reaching out to her to try and like talk and get like in touch and be like, hey, we want to check up on you, but she's kind of letting them go by the wayside because she's focusing on something else, and that uh, it all just kind of ties together and helps us see it a little bit better. The a recurring sound throughout everything is the sound of the phone. Like it'll vibrate a lot, and there's even a scene where they even put a little animation to show that it went off, but like it didn't actually make the sound of the vibration. But the phone and the sound of it comes in a lot, and like her immediate reaction shows how desperate she is for just any type of response from this man. And I think that just kind of shows her like mental state about everything, and how into this person she is, and how almost betrayed she is by the fact that she's not getting a response. So yeah, thank you for listening to my analysis of Ghosted by Morgan Gruer. I definitely suggest giving it a watch. Thank you.